The Detroit Red Wings pick up Olli Juolevi and waive Joe Veleno. What does that mean for both those players? And of course, recapping those two tough losses this past weekend.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Got a new name to practice.
Yes.
Olli Juolevi, according to Hockey Reference. I got to practice that. Olli Juolevi is the new Detroit Red Wing in the block as they pick him up off of waivers from the Florida Panthers. We're going to talk about that as well as the recapping both those brutal losses to Lightning and the Panthers. I don't want to say expected losses, but you kind of had that little gut feeling that it could get ugly, and that second of the back-to-back definitely did. We, of course, are Locked On Red Wings. Welcome back, guys. We're your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley. Scotty's the host over at Locked On Tigers. Thanks for making us your first listen every single day. We are free and available on all platforms. Crossed the 450 subscriber mark, Scotty. Did you notice that?
I did.
Also closing on 2,000 Twitter followers for the podcast account, man.
We're real close to 2K.
I mean, I think if we cross 2K on Twitter followers, you got to do another episode with the sunglasses on.
I'm if the episode isn't right after a loss, I am always down to wear the shades. That's my brand.
I mean, it's a great look. I love it. I mean, you bring so much.
You didn't in that screenshot. You didn't look like you loved it.
That screenshot's like the best thing to ever come out of this podcast. I mean, we have some things we've cut from the shows that can't make it.
I got one I'm sitting on, and I cannot wait to use it.
Oh God, what I wonder what you're gonna have to tell me off air what the circumstance has to be for you. Is it making fun of me, or is it another one making fun of me?
No, it's the clip is you talking. But it is not necessarily making fun of you. It's just, okay, so the circumstance is if
it's
you
not
say...
a bold joke?
No, it's not. If you say something that I disagree with, the video will be in your replies very quickly. If you tweet anything that I disagree with, it's going. But I'm sitting on it and I'm waiting on it. It's going to be a banger. I cannot wait.
I can't wait for me to say something really mundane right that one time and be like, you know what? So-and-so's, I'm not feeling it. And then boom, right in my replies 2 seconds later, it's going to be this video. And
it's a great
excited.
video. And we're going to get a lot of use out of it after I use it for the first time.
Wonderful. Yeah. So Scotty, on Sunday, the Red Wings picked up Olli Juolevi from waivers from the Florida Panthers, who just pushed the doors in of the Detroit Red Wings on Saturday.
Pushed them in, then blew them off, man.
Yeah, pushed them in and blew them off. And in a move, corresponding move is the word I'm looking for.
There you go.
Sent Joe Veleno down to the Grand Rapids Griffins. You have to think that there's one of two reasons. I guess the Joe Veleno one's the easy one to talk about first. One of two reasons why that happened. One, roster space. Perhaps him being the one that doesn't have to go through waivers makes him the easy choice to send down when picking up a guy off waivers, but also with the anticipation of Jacob Vrana returning as soon as Tuesday, Helene St. James said of the Detroit Free Press. You need to send a guy down, and it sucks because he has been playing better lately. Across the season, his stats are pretty putrid, to be honest. But you can see him getting that confidence lately. He played on the second line this past weekend. But it's been this way all season. When there needs to be a guy sent down, he's the odd man out because he's waiver exempt.
Yeah, the waiver exemption definitely plays a large role in it, I think. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're talking about a guy that we said we started seeing improvement, 4 episodes ago, and he's been out most of the season. And we're just now like, oh, hey, he's starting to get a little bit of confidence. He actually looked decent the last couple of games. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's not, it's as much as I hate to say it, it's the easy and probably correct decision. He's a guy that doesn't have to go through waivers and has not been that great by pretty much any metric you look at so far this year.
Well, and the other thing to consider, too, is it's probably a temporary move. Because as soon as the
Sure.
trade deadline, even with Verona coming back, as soon as the trade deadline comes, you have to imagine you're offloading one or two of those forwards. Roster spot's going to be right back available for him. They'll call him back up. Meanwhile, he'll continue to light it up in the AHL, getting top line minutes, getting more and more confidence because he's one of those players who's just too good for the AHL, but still trying to find his footing in the NHL at the moment. But the idea of a trade deadline move is also pertinent into this acquisition of Olli Juolevi, because I didn't even look at Hockey Reference that time. That one off the noggin,
off the dome.
It's a shiny dome. The
You said it, not me.
I know. It was sitting right there in front of me. I couldn't resist. He was a 5th overall draft pick in 2016 of the Vancouver Canucks. Has not lived up to the hype, much like the Red Wings' own 2016 first-round draft pick, Dennis Cholowski, who's back with the Kraken now, I believe.
I think so, too.
But we're not talking about Cholowski. It's a reclamation project for sure. He only played 10 games this season with the Panthers. He's prone to injury. That's the thing that really has been keeping him out. He doesn't have a single point yet this season. Last year, in his rookie season with the Vancouver Canucks, he had 23 games played, 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 points. Nothing too... That's really all there is to it. He hasn't been great. He hasn't been terrible. He's just been really prone to injury. Looking at his advanced metrics, it's really hard to say how close to the truth they are with such a small sample size. I mean, in 10 games played this season, he's got a Corsi for percentage of 55.1, but he's also playing on a team that generally dominates the play. So when you look at his relative Corsi, it is a lot more telling. It's a negative 0.09. So on the ice, he's contributing to basically one less shot or one more shot against than there is for, but that's in 10 games played. The fact of the matter is he's a reclamation project. He hasn't had a lot of chances in the NHL to really get his footing. He's been injury prone. Steve Yzerman loves these types of pickups. When I saw him on waivers yesterday, I went, this kind of has an Yzerman vibe to it. And then here we are, Sunday evening, actually now just crossed into Monday morning, recording. He's a Detroit Red Wing. But there are trade implications to picking him up. Why would you pick up a guy if you don't have intentions of moving a piece, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably safe to say. And I definitely think it puts a little bit of a target on Leddy's back. And with you move down an offensive piece, and I know it's the easiest piece on the team to move down because of the waiver exemption, but like you move down Veleno, Verona comes back. Then at this point, I imagine we trade Vlad and Leddy, bring Veleno back up. We and now we have the defense figured out too. When Leddy goes, we have someone to step in and fill that role. So I think it makes sense. And I love projects like that in rebuilding years, man. I mean, that's like my favorite thing. Like
there have been some that have worked out, some haven't.
Yeah, and that's how it works, right? I mean, that's just the name of the game. And across all sports, man, rebuilding teams, that's my favorite way to rebuild a roster comfortably is play the young kids that you got, play the top prospects you got, and fill in the rest with those kind of projects. And whether he works out or not, if we can kind of assume that Leddy's going to go, I mean, even if Leddy doesn't go, maybe this just spells DDK a lot less playing time, which I don't think anyone would be too upset about at this point. I think it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, and I'm happy with it. I'm pretty excited about it, for as excited as you can be for a waiver pickup.
Yeah, he's only 23 years old. He's still so incredibly young. I think is he still considered a rookie? I'm not entirely sure what that he's got to be, because Nedeljkovic played more games last year with the Carolina Hurricanes, and he's still considered a rookie.
Is he only played in the NHL last year? That was his
last season, and he played 23 games.
Then yeah. Well, yes, but I'm not sure. He's only played 5 this year, right?
10.
So I don't think
because Nedeljkovic played 25 last season.
Right? No. He's definitely still rookie eligible this year. I'm saying he might not even clean his rookie eligibility this year.
So what I'm saying, guys,
he might be a rookie next season still too.
Basically, what I'm saying, guys, is Olli Juolevi for Calder.
There you go.
Book
Next
it.
year.
No, but and I know we got to get to a read here shortly. It's like you said, and like we've both been saying, a reclamation project. It spells Steve Eisman reclamation project, and that's what rebuilding teams do. You take a chance on a guy who hasn't been performing. Robbie Fabry is the poster child for reclamation projects here in Detroit, but there have been others. Perlini didn't pan out. Eric Comrie didn't pan out. Christian Juice didn't pan out. But there's no harm done in taking those.
Loose.
He had an electric start with Detroit, and then I forgot he was on the team by the last half of the season. He was a scratch every night. Rough. But this definitely does spell like there's got to be a trade coming as well, because you don't pick up your 9th defenseman without a corresponding move coming in a week or two. I mean, you got to imagine Nick Leddy obviously being the number one target. We've talked about that. But Troy Stetcher, maybe Mark Stahl's a dark horse, but I got to imagine at this point, with how actually he's kind of been playing good lately.
That might make him more of a dark horse.
It does, but also I feel like the value is based on what you'd probably get back. You're probably better off keeping Mark Stahl for the remainder of the season. But we already talked about that in our defense episode.
And we'll definitely have some trade deadline eps as we get closer to that too.
In the end, this doesn't move the needle on whether or not this team's going to be a playoff team this season, but it is an interesting pickup.
It is. No, it is.
And hopefully he can turn into a nice little piece, because this defense needs the help pretty bad.
So badly.
And also point out he's like 6'2". He's another big boy. And
hell yeah.
We could use more big boys on that back end.
Hell yeah.
Today's episode is brought to you by a new one, guys. Athletic Greens. Scotty, I know. So I got my Athletic Greens box in the mail this weekend. And full disclosure, I haven't had the opportunity to break it open and try some of the supplements yet. I've been working a lot. I haven't had the chance to get in there. But I know you said, where we were talking about it before the show began, that you have tried it. And what has your experience been so far with it?
Yeah, no. So all the hosts got they sent us a nice little box full of a lot of their supplements and such, and so that we could try it out, so that we know, when we want to when we do these ad reads, we want to sell you guys products that we like too, like obviously. So they sent it us for us to try out before we got the ad read started and such. And one of my best friends is really big into those kind of supplements, and like his body is his temple, and is a personal trainer that is, paid personal trainer. Like he's all about that community and that kind of stuff. And so when I got it in the mail and they told us we were doing an ad read, I immediately called him. I was like, hey, like, is this legit? Am I should I be taking this? Like, whatever. And he immediately was very excited. I was like, okay, you seem a little too excited over a supplement. He was like, no, man, like you don't even know. Like, this stuff is awesome. It's recommended by so many people that he's had connections that he has, and like higher ups in that community. It's incredible. And like, you absolutely, even if you weren't doing an ad read, you absolutely should be taking these like every single morning. Like they say, you're supposed to do it first thing in the morning, right when you wake up, before you eat breakfast, on an empty stomach. And that's when they want you to take it. And it has tons of vitamins, and it's supposed to be like everything you need. It's gluten-free, it's vegan. Like it's crazy how much
pretty sure it's lactose free too. And
yeah, it is. And because you're supposed to mix it with water. So like it's really is like it's the real deal. And so I've been doing it. I'm on tomorrow, as you're listening to this, that will be my 3rd day doing it. And definitely like noticeable like stuff immediately, just in how my body feels and everything. And I called him back and I was like, this is crazy. Like I'm literally just drinking this like green water every morning, and I feel great. Like, this is wild. And he was like, I'm telling you, man, like, and he went on and listed, tons of different podcasts and other people and that have talked about how great it is and such. But yeah, I'm only on my like 3rd day, 2nd, 3rd, 4th day. And I'm already, reaping the benefits, and I'm a huge fan, for real.
So at this point, the listeners are probably wondering, what really is this stuff? You've given a kind of painted a little bit of a picture. With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. to help you start your day right. The special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging, all the things. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. There contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, or artificial anything, while still tasting good. Athletic Greens was created when the founder experienced a ton of gut health issues and ended up on a complicated supplement routine to recover. It cost him $100 a day. He created Athletic Greens after experiencing how difficult it was to create an optimal nutrition routine on your own. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletics Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NHL Network to take ownership over your health and pick up ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Scotty, the Red Wings got absolutely crushed this weekend. To be fair, the first game against Tampa Bay Lightning was actually a lot closer than the second game against the Florida Panthers. So maybe a little bit of recency bias against that Panthers game is affecting my mindset. But back-to-back losses against two of the best teams in the league, it definitely soured my opinion on how this season's been going. And I don't want to be like reactionary and knee-jerk, but I actually had this thought watching the Red Wings play against the Carolina Hurricanes when it went to overtime. And I thought to myself then, I was like, if the Red Wings lose this game against Carolina, does that signal the end for the Detroit Red Wings this season? But then they won in overtime. I was like, okay, well, I'll hold off. But then these last two games, I mean, the strength of schedule is real. And the Red Wings clearly aren't up to task against teams that are this powerful. And now, yes, they've taken a huge step forward this year, and we've mentioned that a million times. But against teams like the Lightning and the Panthers, who are legitimate contenders, and Stanley, not even playoff contenders, cup contenders this season, just absolutely up and down the roster, complete. It really exposes everything that's been wrong with the Detroit Red Wings this season. I mean, the defense was bad. Thomas Greiss was horrible in the second game, although he was not helped by his defense. He doesn't get all the blame. He let 2 power play goals in on 3 penalties in the first period. The guy, they can't be taking that many penalties. But after those 2 games, I thought to myself, this is it. They're so far behind Boston, and now they're 2 games under 500. With the strength of schedule they have remaining, I got to imagine, and I guess I want your opinion on this. Is this the point in the season where you go, okay, yeah, it's time to accept reality?
I mean, I guess I'm wondering what your definition of acceptance is, because I even thought we were catching Boston for weeks now.
Fair.
We were down right after we had that week off. I guess that was when it went out the window, because they won 5 straight and we didn't play a game, and they caught up all the games we had in hand on them, and put us completely out of reach. And at that point, I was like, okay, there it is, and I think there is a difference between accepting and being like, oh, well, now it's time to just lose a bunch of games for a high draft pick. I don't agree with that. I don't think we are at a point where we're playing the draft pick game any longer. I think this is, you continue to play as hard as you can. This is culture building from here on out. You don't need the high draft pick anymore. You are culture building. You're still going to try and beat the good teams. You're probably still going to get some wins you shouldn't, because we've been seeing it all year. And you go forward with that and continue to build on what you've had. But yeah, I mean, I like I said, I've accepted that we aren't catching Boston for a minute now.
Yeah, so Boston is actually wild card number 1 now. Now we're chasing Washington, technically, but we're still 10 points behind them.
Sure.
In the standings. And I mean, we have 1 game in hand on them. Oh boy, 2 points. It's just this stretch. I always knew logically. I mean, I've said it coming into the season. Like, coming into the season, I expected it to be another missed playoff year. And then they got onto a bit of tear, and a little bit of hope found its way into my mind. And I always knew I always knew. But these last two games were, I think, truly eye-opening. And to where, like, okay, any semblance of delusion I had that this team could sneak its way into the playoffs is truly dead. And I'm not gonna sit here and promote tanking. I'm over tanking. And this team is, in my opinion, too far up the standings to truly tank. I mean, you got teams like the Montreal Canadiens who have 37 points this season. You could sneak your way into maybe a lottery situation, but not truly bottom of the barrel team. So I'm in agreement with you. Like, use the rest of the season, keep playing hard, try to build that culture of winning. Don't go into a losing mindset, but also recognize that, especially with the strength of schedule, it might be a rough go of it the rest of the year out, especially if some of your pieces end up getting moved at the deadline, like Vlad Nemestikov and Nick Leddy. But yeah, I mean, any semblance of any hope I had left now, Scotty, I feel is dead. And I don't want to sound like a downer. This year's been incredible. They've been great this year. But
yeah, that's the other thing. Like, even with this being, dead in the water, and like we're definitely not making the postseason, that this is still a major dub of a year. Like, this is a big time accomplishment, a very successful season.
you know who it reminds me of?
Who?
The Detroit Tigers last season.
Yeah, it does. We should cross over with that guy.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
The Locked On Tigers.
Says some pretty dumb jokes sometimes, though. Can't remember the word program.
I've heard he's an idiot. But no, like, you're right though. It is very similar to that, and you can have a season where you can finish even under 500 if it's a rough go the rest of the season and we don't bounce back from it. And this can still be a big time successful season, which it is, and which it will continue to be, barring a catastrophic implosion, which I don't think will happen.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of good on this team going forward. If you want a lot of good going on in your wallet going forward, you should check out betonline.net. Not my best.
No, that was a pro move.
You like that one?
I did.
I was a little.
That's professional.
Football might be over this season, but basketball is in full swing for both pro and college hoops. From all the latest odds, totals, and player performance props to where the next fired coach is going to land, BetOnline.net is the number one spot for all your sports betting needs. BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline.net is your source for hockey, boxing, and UFC odds, right to the Olympic coverage and information. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action.
BetOnline,
where the game starts. Also got to talk to you guys about Built Bar. This is the time of year we've pretty much all given up our New Year's resolutions. It's March, guys. New Year's resolutions are so 2 months ago. But what's not 2 months ago is eating right and getting in better shape. That never goes out of style. And this year, you're going to get help because of Built Bar. And it's because they have this new thing called Puffs. If you haven't tried them, they're Built Bar's best new thing. It's literally just basically a protein-infused marshmallow. I mean, a marshmallow that's also healthy for you. I can't imagine anything better than that. And it's covered in 100% real chocolate.
They're really good, dog.
It's chocolate-covered marshmallow. Good. I mean, it sells itself, guys. What do I need to read you right now? It's a chocolate-covered marshmallow. That's get it.
For you.
It's got protein in it. Built Bars, they got 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, 17 grams of protein. Way better than a candy bar. Way better than your other chocolate-covered marshmallows because this one's got the protein infused in it. I mean, they got the normal bars as well. They got mint brownie, coconut almond, with the whole new for this month, white chocolate cookies and cream. They are all delicious, and new flavors are coming out all the time. If they think a flavor might be good, they'll make it. It will be delicious, and they'll make it good for you. So go to Built.com, use a promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Scotty, we're going to continue the conversation. Let's really talk about. We haven't really talked about the games yet. We kind of had a little discussion about the season, but those games, man, and especially that game against Florida. At least Robbie Fabry showed up for those games.
Yeah, Ned did.
Ned actually had 2 good games because he had to come in relief for Thomas Greiss. He only had 1 goal on 20 some shots that game. Let me double check on that. stat. But yeah, he played really
Ned
good.
was damn good in Tampa, man. I don't care what anybody says.
Faced 16 shots against, made 15 saves against the Florida Panthers. Of course, the one goal he did let up was a low danger shot, but you take some, you win some, you lose some. He made 26 saves against the Tampa Bay Lightning at 5-on-5. Let me look at all situations there. I was a little confused there for a second. Made 37
There it is.
37 shots against and 35 saves total against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah, he looked pretty stellar that game. It's nice bounce back after he's been on a little bit of a rough stretch to see that him upswing again.
No, again, and that's like what we talked about in the last segment. The rest of the year, like that's why you still play hard for the rest of the year. If we didn't have, the rookies or these young building blocks on the team going forward, then I'd be like, all right, let's just trade everybody and try and lose as many as possible to increase our lotto odds so that we can all get mad when we get the fourth pick again. But like with this, you can't do that when you have talent on your roster that is going to be here for the long haul. That is you have a core. You can't do that when you have a core for many years going forward. And so that's what we look for the rest of the season. That's the kind of stuff we look for the rest of the season. Ned taking, bouncing back and having a good rest of the season would be another major success.
So, yeah, Thomas Greiss played like crap against the Florida Panthers.
He did.
But I can't give him, honestly, a lot of the fault because in both games, Tampa Bay and Florida, Red Wings took a lot of stupid penalties. They took a lot of penalties. They took 3 penalties in the first period.
Oh, they couldn't stay out of the box against Florida. Goodness gravy.
They allowed 2 power play goals against the Tampa Bay Lightning and 2 power play goals against the Florida Panthers. And those are 2 teams that you do not want to go down a man against. Nedeljkovic made 35 saves in that game. The only 2 goals he allowed were on the power play. Thomas Greiss, to go ahead into the game against the Panthers, if you look at the, I mean, just it's bad, man. I know he played bad in that game, Scotty, but I have a hard time putting all the blame on him when there's a face-off and 2 seconds after a face-off is won. There are 2 Florida Panthers guys in front of our net with no Red Wings defensemen. The Red Wings defense in both these games, Florida Panthers game especially, was horrible. And they couldn't stay out of the box, and their defense was horrible. I mean, that's what lost us both those games. I mean, granted, the Red Wings couldn't score in the first game, but it's just this defense, man. It needs a shot, and maybe this guy we picked up off waivers can be that shot as he's going to get more meaningful minutes here in Detroit. But something's got to give, man. The growth on that defensive core seems to have stopped. Seems to have stagnated. Seider is not even having great defensive games at this point.
Yeah, and I think part of that is probably it's very hard to perform at your defensive best when you are trying to compensate for the other players on your defense and on your line are so horrible defensively. You know what I mean? Like, it's a totally different game. I mean, you can attest to it more than I can. It's a totally different game defensively when if you have confidence in the person to your left versus you don't have confidence in the person to your left. Like, that is a totally different style that you are going to play the remainder of the game. And I think that has a large majority to do with it. Also, he's a rookie defenseman. He's going to go through growing pains.
Well, I mentioned Seider only because he's been so good this season that to see him now struggle defensively, it surprises me, but I really shouldn't, because exactly what you said. He is a rookie. Also, he's playing the most meaningful minutes. I looked it up the other day, and I don't have the stat in front of me. But among Red Wings, he leads the entire team in ice time by a good 20 minutes total accumulated over the season. So, yeah, he's going to have more. He's playing against the toughest opponents and getting the most minutes as a rookie. So, yeah, his defense is sometimes going to falter. But the defense as a whole has faltered. I mean, you look at the stat cards of these games. Against the Panthers, man, Nick Leddy and Moritz Seider, your top pair in that game, were horrible defensively. And now, granted, they were both strong offensively, which is what you would expect out of Leddy and Seider. But they were bad defensively, but so was the rest of the defense. Phil Peronik was bad defensively and offensively had negative impact on the game both those ways. So did Mark Stahl. It's just the entire defense sucked. At least guys like Letty and Sider had a positive impact in some regard, but it just wasn't enough. Something's got to give with this defense, and something's got to change. And I'm getting sick and tired of watching the defense get picked apart every single game, Scotty. Every single game.
Yeah, if you're tired of it now, you're gonna buckle up when we trade at least one of them.
I know. At this point, I'm just venting. Honestly, I don't have any analysis here. It's just frustrating.
No, any analysis we give is just going to be broken record for the last 3 weeks worth of episodes where we've torn apart the defense. Like, it's not good. It's really not good. And I think the next conversation we have, as the season gets closer and closer to ending, and then after, when the playoffs start, we're kind of just sitting here. The strategy for the offseason has to be defense over everything.
Oh, yeah.
Over everything.
It's got to be your target.
There is no position group. There's no specific position. There's no line. There is nothing on this team that is of greater need than some damn defensive help going into next season.
Yeah, it's just been so ugly, Scotty. It has just been so damn ugly. And I don't see how, Moritz Seider is doing everything he can. He's been great this season, but he's the only one, really. I mean, Gustav Lindstrom, a little bit of an analytical darling. Off the puck, he shows his advanced metrics show that he's just on the positive side of positive impact. At least last time we looked, although after these past 2 games, it's probably back dipped under the negative. But, he's a depth defenseman, and that's all he's ever going to be. I don't think he'll ever come off like bottom pairing. He's great there in that role, but I don't think he'll ever really rise above at max, a middle pairing defenseman. So you need somebody else besides Moritz Seider who can go out there because, Mark Stahl's been on a little bit. He's been pretty good lately offensively, but he's never been a great defensive defenseman. Danny DeKeyser, it is what it is with him. We've gone up and down that hill. I love Danny DeKeyser, but he can't keep up with his game. His instincts work against him in most regards because he knows where he has to be, but his body can't just quite keep up. I mean, Jordan Osterley he's supposed to be a depth piece that you scratch more games than not, but you've been forced to put him in the game because of injuries and other players just not performing. I mean, there's just Troy Stetcher has had an underwhelming year as well. It gets exhausting to talk about. We need Dan Renouf back, man. We need Dan Renouf back. They put him down in the minors when he came off injuries.
Right. Damn right. Now you're seeing the vision. Now your third eye's open. If you get it.
Okay, so he played, 2 games with the Red Wings? If you sort, and granted, small sample size, but his expected goals for percentage in those 2 games?
Yeah, what is it?
It's like 60.
Yeah.
He's been, in those 2 games, man, he lit it up. But it's just...
Yeah, he did. Interesting.
Top pair defenseman, Dan Renouf.
Interesting.
I just can't wait. I don't want to rush Simon Edvinsson by any stretch of the imagination. I don't want to rush William Wallander, but we need reinforcements on the way because Moritz Seider and, Philip Roenick for what he is too, he's been hot and he's been cold throughout the season, but I still like Philip Roenick. I still think he could be a good, powerful asset, especially on the power play if he can hit the damn net. But those 2 defensemen are really all we got. And right now it's like really Moritz Seider is just the one guy who's actually playing the game. In the role, it's just you can't win games with one defenseman. We've won a lot of games this season with just one defenseman showing up. Moritz Seider literally winning his hockey games, but we need more than just him. And I'm just venting because I'm frustrated because every single time we play a good opponent
right now, bro.
Just every single time we play a good opponent, the defense just gets picked apart. And I love the Red Wings, and I have nothing against any of these players, but whatever scheme they're running, and I know I'm a men's league player, and I got absolutely dangled tonight, danced.
Yeah, but you won the fight, though.
And we won the game tonight. But the point being here, not talking about myself, Scotty, is that something's got to give, man. This defense has just been bad.
Yeah, something's got to give, and it's going to give this offseason. Ain't nothing going to change the next 2 months, brother.
Yeah. Any final thoughts? You want to respond to my venting?
I mean, you're spitting. I don't know. Yes, a stamp of approval. Agreed. I don't think so, man. Had a
Yeah.
good Locked On Tigers episode before this.
Good.
Uh,
Did you rant more about Chris Ilitch?
I did. Whole first segment is just talking about Chris Ilitch, actually. Chris Ilitch specifically. No, we ball. I think that's all I got.
We definitely ball. We'll be back with a new episode tomorrow. Probably previewing. You know, I think tomorrow's the day, Scotty.
You're gonna do it tomorrow?
I think we're gonna do it tomorrow.
I'm down if you're down.
We're gonna obviously preview the game that is on Tuesday, but I think we're gonna talk about a possible dark horse trade candidate, the Detroit Red Wings, that we haven't mentioned yet this season, and
Gonna get some people riled up. That's for sure.
Twitter is gonna be on fire. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Red Wings your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Fantasy Hockey. Hosts Steele Roden and Flip Livingstone help you become the expert of your fantasy league. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back tomorrow.
So we'll be back.
I was going to say something else. Same time, same place. It's your team.
So every day.
So every day.